try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they're scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No, 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 no. Life and free thoughts.
What a beautiful sight here behind me. Two torch red Corvettes. This one here being a 99 C5 Corvette. This one on this side being a 2023 C8 Corvette. Today's video I want to go over all the differences between these two cars. However, there are literally tons because they're 20 plus years apart. But since I have two Corvettes here in my possession, figure we'll do a walk around of you know, a C5 and a C8 just for fun. Alright, gonna cut right to it here. Both these cars obviously Chevrolet Corvette, both in torch red, and ironically both of these cars are also pretty much just base models. So this is actually a Stingray 2 LT. My 99 here is a complete base. I don't think there's like any letters or anything behind it. None of these is the 06 or anything cool like that. So you know, pretty much the same base is. However, obviously this is a 23, this is a 99, so a 24-year apart difference. And wow, did GM really come far in 20 years. This is a rear-wheel drive 5.7 liter LS1 engine manual, and then this guy of course is a 6.2 liter mid-engine with the paddle shifts. So like 345 horsepower off the rip from the factory. This has 490 horsepower, so definitely a big upgrade. However, once again, it is 20 years now. From a styling perspective, this obviously is a 90s car. Super round, super smooth, super bubbly. This car actually didn't come with these wheels. These are C6 Z06 replica wheels. These, you know, this car came with a similar set of wheels how this car did, just like a standard gray set of Corvette wheels, 17 in the front, 18 in the rear. Now it has an 18 and a 19. The 23s now coming with a 19 up front and a 20 in the rear, and obviously much wider as well. Both cars actually target top. So this one, obviously I have the target top off because I was driving it and there was no air conditioning. Well, it has AC, however the AC doesn't work. So target top's already off this car. Stores in the back, of course. And then the cool thing is, I do love the fact that GM still has target top models. So this top clearly comes off as well, and it will store back behind the engine, which is also super cool. The hoods and the trunks popped, or however, hood trunk. This has a frunk and a trunk. C5 Corvette pop-up headlights, so the old school pop-up headlights. You can see the OG logo there versus obviously like these new standard beautiful OLED headlights, HIDs as well. And then the logo there, like I said, up front of the C5, you'll see the 5.7 liter powered LS1 engine. And then of course, over on this fella here, all we have is the frunk, which is actually a fairly deep frunk, if you will. Windshield washer fluid, something there, honestly don't even know. Light and a 12 volt, which is kind of neat. Just looking at the fronts of the cars though, it's so funny, like the C5 is just, like I said, so round and I guess aerodynamic, if you will. However, then you look at the C8 and you see how like literal supercar-esque it is. Already kind of comes with some like splitters and stuff like that, just for, you know, keeping this thing on the ground and planted. And then the rear of C5, like I said, very large trunk here and storage for the target top itself. And then of course in the C8 trunk area, still have a fairly large trunk. This would be where the target top stores. And then obviously the difference is now, here's your 6.2 liter Corvette engine at this point, which is pretty sweet, not gonna lie. It is definitely different driving a car with a, you know, mid-engine versus driving, well, a normal car with a front engine like every other car in this in the universe. But if you're looking at the sides of the cars, honestly, this is the first chance I got to see them side by side. Fender style, honestly kind of the same, how it kind of goes up and over. The C5 does as well. Mirror wise, it is kind of nice to see that they stuck with doing just like a standard paint match mirror on both of these cars. However, of course, C8 is going to have a an actual light in that. Going down the body panels, door handles. I mean, cars had door handles back in the day, so that's fairly standard. However, on the C8, the door handles are hidden. They're actually up underneath here. There's a little button you hit, and that is what opens and closes your door. And then to the rear of the C5, of course, they do have side marker lights, which they got rid of on those cars. And then the standard 4 taillights, and then center mounted exhaust tips for those as well. If I'm not mistaken, they've done this from C4s all the way to C7s, and then it's just now when they got to the C8 body style, if you will, that it is all changed up. So now you go to like a fairly standard car where you have still 4 exhaust tips, but they are split now, and then still standard tail lights, and these are actually OLED and sequential when you put your turn signals on. And then of course, big upgrade from factory would obviously be like brakes and rotors. You know, it's 2023 now. You see a fairly massive rotor, front caliper here, and then you even have like a supporting rear. Front only has like a standard 1 caliper, but you can see this on my C5, which is just a basic ass brake and rotor. Honestly, the fronts are bigger on this car than they are in the rear, and here's the fronts of the C8. So still significant size rotor and caliper. So of course these cars drive a lot different and ride a lot different, and we'll get to the interior in a second. However, we're going to drive them real quick right now. They obviously sound a lot different as far as power delivery and everything as well, exhaust notes, the whole 9 yards. So this is obviously completely stock, 200 miles on the clock. My 99 actually has like close to 60,000 miles now. Everything's OEM except for a Borla X-pipe and catback exhaust, so nothing crazy on performance-wise for either car. But it is still so crazy to me how supercar-ish this is. The body lines on this are ridiculous. There are literally no body lines with this car. It's just a freaking round piece of clay. This thing is sculpted and molded. Like, this is like me, super, you know, plain, boring, scrawny. This thing goes to the gym like 7 days a week, legit. Like, just look at this, moving the camera around, look at the body lines, they're everywhere. All right, GoPro time. So this, obviously, standard normal car. Get in and here we are. So this is gonna sound wild, but I actually fit in this car way better than I fit in that car right there. This car is a 1999, and I know the target top's not on it right now. However, I have plenty of headroom in this car. The seat sits super down low and everything. I actually have a really difficult time driving that car. No matter how I position the seat, my head still hits the top right here, like where the target top like actually goes. So that's crazy. And then also here, you see I have plenty of leg room underneath this. We're gonna do the same exact thing in that car. I do not have any room whatsoever. So standard car, standard round steering wheel, and there is a reason why I'm saying standard round steering wheel. Back in the 90s, they did not have a digital dashboard. This is just a standard analog dashboard, right? Your temperatures, oil pressure, tachometer, speedometer, of course, battery, and then fuel. And then, like I said, this car here is actually a manual, so 6-speed, which is awesome, and standard, of course, e-brake here. You get not a whole lot of storage in these cars in general. Super small cup holder that literally nothing fits into, like that's really don't fit into. Right here, back the old school baby, you got an ashtray and a cigarette lighter. Standard, you know, CD, FM, AM, you know, controls for the HVAC and whatnot. You do have a few options to change your gauges, and then of course all your air vents, airbag, and then glove box. There's my PA inspection stickers in case anybody is curious. Nice thing is this car still does have Bose. There is Bose sound system in this car, and honestly it sounds pretty good. You know, door latch, lock, all your buttons here for your windows and mirrors. Like nothing too crazy. Standard, you know, trunk button, and then center console where I have all my CDs. Look at this. Look at this. All my CDs from high school and whatnot. So honestly, I will say I'm not hating on the C8s, but this car is more comfortable than that car. These seats are super plush leather. Now you still have bolsters, some pretty good bolsters to stay in your seat. However, it's very, very, very soft, if you could see that. Standard one-piece seat, nothing crazy. It's not a Z06 or anything, like I said. And then of course you got your access to the trunk. So super simple car. It's just a interior of a C5 Corvette, nothing crazy here. And then to get into this one, door handle underneath, there is a button. I will make mention to this. This door sill is ridiculously large, like stupid large. So get in this car, and like I said, I don't fit in this car as well. So check this out. First things first, not a round steering wheel. Well, that's pretty cool. On the dash, that's sick. That's sick. I'll give them that. The steering wheel is kind of like squarish, and honestly, I like it a lot. Your hands fit perfectly here at 10 and 2. But look at this. I don't have the room. I do not have the room. Like, you can see how much more crammed I am in this car. And then if I turn this around and look here, so I cannot put my head back. So I drove this car home 3 hours and my back hurts because I could not, like, I'm like slouching. I can't just sit back. And the seat, I promise, is all the way down in back position. I messed with it so many times. This car is smaller. And then same thing with like my view. My view, I'm looking at here. Like that car, I have way much more room, which is nuts. Either way, getting into the interior, like I said, so now you have kind of a squarish wheel, which honestly, it's very nice. It's an automatic. This is paddle shifting. And like I said, everything's digital. The whole display, everything's digital in this car. You now have this. So like this is what's taking up a lot of room. So you have your Prindle right here, and these are all just like push and pull buttons, which are kind of cool. Your mode selector here, which is kind of cool. They finally gave you actual cup holders, which is nice. There's 2 cup holders, and actually, I think there's even some in the doors. No, there's not. I'm wrong. But speaking of doors, there's no door handle anymore. There's actually a button. There's a button that you press to open and close the door. So that's different. I'll close that. But yeah, so this is round. I will give GM a thumbs up with the black headliner and everything. That is super nice. It's kind of crazy you spend this much money for a car and you still have an old school mirror versus like an actual like camera mirror, or at least like an auto dimming mirror, something like that. But all this display, Apple CarPlay, all this fun stuff. Actually, I could start the car, I guess. Alright, so you can see the display, see how it, like, everything's digital. It's actually really, really nice. This is obviously like, you know, XM radio, whatever, Sirius XM, all that fun stuff. This is all of the HVAC controls, which is kind of strange to me. Everything's HVAC, you know, up, down, you know, where you want it to hit you, on, off. Over on this side, you do have a glove box, a button for your glove box. And then, like I said, oh, here, storage. You do have a little storage area here. This is kind of nice. They put a little storage area right here. Same thing, Bose system. So Bose there, Bose in the doors, Bose literally everywhere. But if you look at the seats, so these seats freaking hold you in, man. However, they're not the most comfortable seats, I gotta say. Not the most comfortable seats. Like I said, I drove home for 3 hours and drove home for 3 hours, and my back is pretty sore. But one cool thing is, like I said earlier, you could actually see the fenders when you're driving this car, and then in the mirror you could actually see the big wings, which actually looks kind of cool too. So but same thing, target top comes off, but like I just don't fit in this car so much. So it's kind of super futuristic, if you will. A bunch of steering wheel controls, the logo's pretty cool on there. Like I said, Bose, you got Bose on the sound system there, and all your vents. So here's all your vents for AC and heat, of course. So nothing too crazy, guys. And then, like I said, driving wise, I mean, obviously a brand new 2023 with 200 miles on it's going to drive a lot nicer as far as like suspension and everything like that. However, like this is definitely a more comfortable ride. This obviously is a lot faster, has a little bit more horsepower. This one here does burnout, so like there's a trade-off with all this stuff. So either way, I think I covered most of it. I try not to make these videos too long and bore anybody. If you do like the content, please smash the thumbs up button, like the video, and subscribe to see more of this stuff. So have any questions or anything, drop them in the comments. Be happy to answer them, and see you guys next video. Peace.
People who deceive me, muddy ends break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. And when they try to change, you can say no, free me.